What It Takes Radio Company presents another edition of Interesting Ideas, and it's time for us to enter the transformation zone. So, may I challenge you? That's right, challenge you to be one of the 3% of the population who can actually do what it takes. And we will start with the 20 questions. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stan the coach man, maybe the guy who wants to help you as we help each other to become one of the 3% of the population who have an idea of who they are, where they're going, what they want to achieve, and perhaps how they can make a difference in the world, maybe even create a different world. Welcome to the transformation zone, and today we're continuing on to begin to think more and more how we can be people who are truly transformed in our life and in our business, perhaps guiding, helping others achieve that same kind of degree of life, and be an instrument of peace, of human flourishing, of goodness, of good and powerful transformations. Many years ago, when I first started to recover from a terrible career accident and trying to put my life back together, it turned out to be quite a transformation because I learned that so many of the things that I thought I knew about life and business, I didn't know. And so I started the journey to try and recover and to find ways to true success and happiness and a way to please and serve others in the best manner possible. And there I learned what we call the 3% principle. And that is, if you do a survey of the general population, only 3% of the population know who they are. What their purpose and meaning in life is, what they hope to achieve, what their plans are. Are they written down? Do they have a way to accomplish those things? And every day in every way, they have a guiding force that can perhaps help them, a guiding direction that can help them make a difference in the world. And at that time, I made the decision. I don't know how successful I'll be or how well it will go, but I wanted to be one of the 3%. And so that's what I have kind of tried to be. And as a business performance coach helping other people do that, I said, I have to learn not the art of telling as much as I have to learn the art of asking good questions and telling stories. And that's basically what my coaching was all about, asking questions and telling good stories. And then when requested, I might have a suggestion or a recommendation or maybe a challenge for them, because I always wanted them to know that they were always at choice. No matter their situation, they were always at choice. Well, what does it mean to be one of the 3%? Well, one of the tools I use, and I've used it for a number of years, is to ask what I call the 20 questions. And of course, that's a game that many of us have played. It's a long time ago, but you have something in mind, and the people in the game, they get 20 questions, and to see if they can name the thing or the object or the idea that you are thinking about in 20 questions. So I came up with 20 questions that if you know the answer to these 20 questions, I say with a smile, you're probably one of the most focused persons on planet Earth. Focused, the one thing, what is truly important, what matters. I know who I am, what I'm about, and what I hope to achieve, and the difference I seek to make in this world and in my life business, in my RCA, my relationships, my character, my achievements. And it is those kind of people who oftentimes are the leaders of true transformations, or they are the people who, when something bad happens to them, they have the ability to turn a tragedy into a positive transformation. So what I'd like to do in this part of the program, I'd like to go through the top 7. And perhaps in a later program, we'll do maybe uh, the rest of the 20 questions. But today, just the top 7. Number 1. It said that the great psychologist and political and business consultant Peter Drucker finally, after many years of coaching, said that he came to the conclusion that only one question would make the difference. And he said that if a person could not answer the one question, he realized that there was probably little chance that he could really help them. And so here's the question. The question was asked, first of all, by St. Augustine. That's right, many years ago. And then by Peter Drucker. When you have lived your life, how do you want to be remembered? That's right. I just received notice that one of my, this happens more and more at this age and stage, one of my classmates has passed on. And there was a glowing story of remembrances of a woman who took charge of her life, had a difficulty, and she lost some of her children before she died. And yet, she was remembered well. How do you want to be remembered? When people talk about you, perhaps in the business you've built, maybe in the company that you're leading. How do you want people to speak about you? How do you want to be remembered? In that proverbial time when when they're remembering you, what do you want them to say about your relationships, about your character, about your achievements? What do you want your children to say? What do you want your friends and colleagues to say? Maybe even some of your opponents to admit, well, he was quite a competitor, but a good man, good woman. I always knew that they wouldn't cheat. I always knew that you could trust them. They would always keep their word. So right now, I'm going to ask you to come up with the answer to that question. How do you, when you have lived your life, how do you want to be remembered? Is that fairly clear to you now? I would encourage you. I might even challenge you to work on that. All right. Number 2, in your work, the work that you do, what are you very good at? I mean, all of us are gifted in many ways, and some of us are gifted in many, many, many ways, and some of us are gifted only a few ways. But what are you very good at doing? What real talent and skill do you have? Now, and how are you using this talent to make your mark in your industry, in your business, in your relationships, in your work? What are you really good at? I remember the line of somebody who came to a good realization of that. And with a smile, he'd say, "This is what I do. And I do it well. This is what I do. And I do it very well." What are you very good at? Number 2. That's right. How about number 3? What is the most effective means at your disposal for getting people to trust you, to believe you, to follow you, vote for you, even buy from you? That's right. What skill, what performance do you have that helps people get to know you, trust you, believe you, follow you, even buy from you? Give you money. They'd prefer to keep their money, but they know that by giving it to you, they'll get something better in return. Now, How are you using that great skill in your life and business right now? Yeah, number 3. Those are the top 3. If you've got those 3 down, you're well on your way to being one of the 3%. Now, here we go. Now we go from the top 3 to the significant 7. To the significant 7. Okay, here we go. Why should people pay you for what you do? There was a boss who would quiz some of his employees with that question. Why should I pay you for what you do? Now, what he was trying to help them do is to declare their value, to be aware of what they were doing, how they were doing it. And it was worth, paying. As one of my friends also said, that one of the persons he was interviewing said, well, if said to them, well, if I hire you, you've asked for $65,000 a year. Well, for $65,000 a year, I could buy a nice new truck. Why should I spend that money on you rather than buy that truck? Please keep in mind, if you don't know the answer to that question, you are in trouble. You need to know what value you bring to the organization, and you better know it and be good at it and be clear about it. Why should people pay you for what you do? Good question. Okay, here we go. What causes 80% of the frustration, tension, stress, and pressure in your life? Now, we all have those things. What causes you frustration, tension, pressure in your life? Do you know what they are? What are your stressors? What are the things that make life sometimes, yeah, okay, you got them. That's part of life. That's true. But how do you plan to deal with them? Perhaps reduce them and diminish those bad situations. What are you doing to have a greater sense of majesty, of calmness, of less stress, less pressure, less frustration in your life? You're going to always have some. Sometimes you're going to have a lot, but what are you doing to take those things and make them less of a factor in the quality of your life? That means you know what they are. And it means perhaps that you have a way of discovering how to deal with them. And then number 3 of that, you actually deal with them. You do something different. That's right. Okay, that was question number 5. What causes 80% of the frustration, stress, and pressure in your life? And how are you planning to deal with that? All right, got that so far. Now, here we go. Number 6, in your present position, okay, whatever position you have in your particular work environment or your life or your leadership environment, in your position, given your present level of leadership and responsibility, I mean, you get paid for leading or being responsible for doing. What is the most significant thing you could seek to achieve in the next 5 years? Think 5 years. In your present level of responsibilities and leadership, what is the most significant thing you could do and achieve in the next 5 years that would make life better for you, that would help fulfill your aspirations, which would bring some of the good things into your life that you really are hoping for and wanting for? What are they? Can you tell me? In your present position, your present level of leadership and responsibility, what are the most, or what is the most significant thing you could seek to achieve in the next 5 years? How about that? See how focused you're becoming? Now, here's number 7. Number 7 of the significant 7 is probably one of the most important. I like 7. I oftentimes say that we are in the sevens are us business. We always have 7 things that people can do. Okay. What are the 3 most important beliefs or principles that you want to pass on to your children, the next generation, and the people you care about? Think about that. You have many. What 3? What are the 3 most important beliefs, principles, and practices that you want to pass on to your children, to the next generation, and to the people you love and care about? What are they? Can you name the big 3 at the bottom of our 7 list? Well, there we go. I trust this has been helpful for you. Again, under 20 minutes. Just, a little, you do something for 20 minutes every day, and a few years, you'll be a world-class expert. Now, there are more, and we'll do the other 13 in another presentation. But I want you right now, as you are in the transformation zone, to think about, play this over again. Write them down. Ask the people in your company or your colleagues or others about them. This would be one of the great ways to audition and interview people for responsible positions. See how well they know themselves and they know their life and what value they might bring to you and your company. There we go. My name is Stan, one of the guides through the maze of things that we call the Transformation Project, and hoping to help you as you live and achieve and make life matter and make perhaps a different world here and now, and maybe even forever. So all the best and blessings to you. And as we always say, all that to you. And guess what? We'll be back, hoping to meet you in the transformation zone.